we got mainstream funding for only 1 year. And again, we probably could have got it renewed if Walt Hundley and John Adams had supported the renewal of the grant. It was in the early days of the study centers, they were funded out of general economic opportunity money, but then they got the action education centers funded out of Department of Labor funding under, I don't know if it was New Careers or Operation Mainstream or whatever it was. The idea was that we would focus on providing a service, but also in training employees. So I think we were defunded because we were so effective. We had 55 employees altogether, as I mentioned earlier, I think, maybe off the record, but 30 of these were adults with stunted careers. There were people who had to drop out of college or never did finish high school, who had people we perceived as having talent but never having opportunity. And then we had 20 young people, we called them education aides, and we had 20 young people who were assistants, youth aides as we call them, would assist these education aides in the schools. There were 3 or 4 in each of the 11 Central Area schools where we conducted the main part of the program. And then we had 5 people who were supervisors. There were people all who had college degrees or were close to it. And these included people like Barbara Lahners that I mentioned before. And among other things, we, after offering free non-credited African American heritage courses with this 3-pronged approach I mentioned, they began to use some of these education aids in the regular classroom. So in the spring of 1968, for example, Barbara Lahners taught the first 4-credit course in Black history at Garfield High School. Well, then we got sort of overnight, or at least we found out overnight, that the Department of Labor was not going to renew our contract for a year. They were worried about the controversy of some of our activities. And so it was quite a blow, because as I say, we were serving about 5,000 people a quarter.
Wow.
That came to either a single night or afternoon event, or came to a weekly soul search or whatever. And so it was sort of a mad scramble for jobs. And I was offered the opportunity to stay on as director of this miniaturized version of the Action Education Center, but I had decided that some of my employees were actually more in need of work than I hoped I would be. And so they carried on for a while on a fee-for-service basis. Churches or community groups or whoever utilized their services. There were about 7 people left out of the 55.